Peggy 16.
Kislev. The motherland has turned her back on us. Exiled to a wasted land. Brothers and sisters betrayed. Was the meek cling to power? Is it just? To be the bulwark the world relies on? Does it make us weak? To witness endless loss? Do we falter? Molded by it. Forged hot against an anvil of ice. Rage consumes us. But from the fire, we rise again.
Hello and welcome everyone, Larhart here, and today I've got some first look battle gameplay for Total War Warhammer 3. Big thanks to Creative Assembly who invited me to a remote event the other week. I got to log in to one of their computers they set up and play through the Assault on the Brass Citadel, which is a brand new survival battle type that will be present in Warhammer 3. So I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay from that. I've added some commentary to the recording that was made by Creative Assembly. They've sent me my battle footage. So yeah, it's not a live commentary. I'll just be adding my thoughts as we go through. I also tried to take some extra cinematic shots to lay over the top of some of the regular battle footage. But yeah, if there's anything you want to specifically see in future gameplay videos for Warhammer 3 for future events when they happen, do let me know and I'll obviously bear that in mind. I'll just go through some of the information about this new survival battle type, some of the features that you'll notice in the gameplay, and obviously share some of my thoughts on that. I don't know the release date of the game yet. That wasn't shared with us, so I doubt it's being announced alongside the release of this Assault on the Brass Citadel gameplay. It's just battle gameplay today. From this survival battle. I imagine that in a couple of months' time we'll perhaps see some campaign gameplay, but yeah, don't really know what the roadmap is like for content. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure there's more to come. So yeah, let's just go through some of the information that Creative Assembly sent me about the Assault on the Brass Citadel. So a design overview for this: it's a survival battle, which is a new kind of narrative battle that Creative Assembly have designed specifically for Warhammer 3. It's an additional battle type, and it doesn't replace any of the traditional battle types that players are familiar with from the series. So this isn't replacing regular battles or anything like that. This is in addition to all of the battles that we've seen in the past, the regular battle types. These are meant to be rare and epic encounters, essentially the sort of boss battles of Warhammer 3, and they trigger as you reach key points in the game's narrative. The battle I'll be showing you today pits Katarin the Ice Queen of Kislev, one of the playable Legendary Lords of Kislev, against the massed forces of Khorne, and is set before the Brass Citadel, the blood god's stronghold, deep in his hellish realm. Players must overcome wave after wave of demonic entities and drive forward through the map to capture each victory point in turn before facing Khorne's champion, an exalted greater demon, in a final and desperate struggle. Many of the foes you'll face in this battle have had their hit points reduced compared to those that you'll encounter in other battles during a campaign. This enables Creative Assembly to create the spectacle of demons assaulting in plague numbers while still giving the player a chance of success. If you notice that many lesser demons seem to fall easily, then that's the reason. And also, I would tack on a note to this. My experience of playing these preview builds, these demos at these press events that Creative Assembly have done for years and years and years with their Total War games, the balance that you often see in these preview builds is way different to what the final balance will be. And obviously on top of that, as I've just said, Creative Assembly have stated that in survival battles they've lowered the hit points to make it more of a demonic horde plague spectacle. So yeah, this won't be fully representative of the final balance and hit points for these units in regular battles on the campaign. Survival battles are handcrafted encounters which are longer and more challenging than standard battles. Playtime for this battle is around 45 minutes. I think I did this one in around about 35 though. This was my I played the battle 3 times. That's what I had time to do in the preview event that I attended the other week. And this one that I'm showing you was my best run, where I got the highest score. So I thought this would be a good one to show you guys, and I did it in 35 minutes. There's also, within the survival battle, a suite of new features and mechanics, and I'll go through some of them now. So there's victory points. Much of the gameplay in a survival battle is focused around victory points. Capturing one grants you supply points and activates a number of construction slots upon which you can build offensive and defensive structures, such as barricades and towers. Capturing a victory point also triggers a new wave of demons to enter the field, so any structures you build will help you defend the victory point and maintain your army cohesion as the wave of enemies rushes towards you. Until you capture a victory point, it will grant a passive map-wide debuff to your forces, which is revealed by hovering the cursor over the victory point marker. Capturing it cancels the effect. And going through those very briefly, there's 3 victory points. The Icon of Ruin is the first, the Icon of Blood is the second, and the Icon of Torment is the third and final one. The Icon of Ruin applies a -15 armor debuff to your units. The Icon of Blood applies a -10% melee attack when your leadership is lower than 50% of its base, and the Icon of Torment applies a -15 leadership when in melee. So at the start of the battle, you don't control any of them, so you have all 3 of those applied to your forces. But as you capture them and push forward and take those capture points, then you will cancel out those effects. But if Khorne's forces retake a victory point that you've captured, it'll reapply the debuff, and any structures that you built within that victory points area will be destroyed. Supplies. As you slay enemies and take victory points, you'll be granted supplies. These can be spent in a number of ways to improve your fortunes during the battle. Slaying enemies provides a constant drip feed of supplies, while capturing victory points gives you a large burst, which soon fades. This prompts the player to progress to the next point, and its promise of fresh supplies. And supplies can be spent on the following activities. They can be spent on construction, where you can build barricades and blockers, or you can build towers on specific points around the map. You can also deconstruct. You can sort of sell off those buildings and destroy them for a 50% supplies refund, which you'll probably want to tactically utilize that at certain points as you progress further forward. You won't necessarily need all the defenses right at the rear or halfway through the map, because those are valuable supplies that you can spend on buffing your troops or bringing in more reinforcements. Speaking of army buffs, supplies can be spent to improve your troops in a number of ways. You can use the replenishment menu to replenish ammo supplies, replenish unit health, or replenish winds of magic. And there's also the upgrade menu, which you can use to improve melee, armor, and projectiles. for your units, but they do cost quite a lot. In this final run, I didn't actually use any of the upgrades on my units. I did try it out earlier, and the ranged upgrade, the top tier of that specifically, makes your range units absolutely bonkers strong, but it costs so much that I actually found it was better to spend those supply points on recruiting more units, which is another thing you can spend supplies on. Recruiting units, you can call in fresh troops to the field after you take each victory point. It'll unlock a new selection of units to bring into the battle. You can also withdraw units, so if you've had a unit that's down to only 5 men remaining in it, you want to replenish it, you can tell it to withdraw. It kind of goes back into the portal, starts replenishing on up, takes a set amount of time, I can't remember how much, but then you can then spend fresh supplies to bring in that unit back at full strength. As you go through each of the tiers, each of the victory points, you'll unlock more and more powerful units as you go through, you know, starting with just your regular Zargard and Kossars, all the way up to the final tier and getting your strongest high tier units like the Elemental Bear. Quickly, we'll go through Katarina's magic, and then we will dive straight into this battle. So Katarina wields the Law of Ice, and this is a new law which focuses on slowing and damaging enemy units and buffing allies. Quick breakdown of her spells. You've got the Crystal Sanctuary, which is an augment which provides massive damage resistance to friendly units while disabling movement for the duration. There's Frost Blades, which is an augment which buffs weapon and armor piercing weapon damage and melee attack for the duration. There's the Ice Maiden's Kiss, which is a breath spell which reduces movement speed and causes damage over time to enemies. There's Death Frost, which is a direct damage spell, which is good against single entities, causing massive damage over time. And there's also Ice Sheet, which reduces the movement and charge speed of target enemy units. And finally, Heart of Winter. It's a 4-phase damage over time AoE spell, which causes increasing damage and movement speed reductions per phase in the area effect. And Ice Sheet and Heart of Winter are the main two spells that you'll see me using. I do use the Ice Maiden's Kiss and Death Frost a little bit, but yeah, Ice Sheet for slowing enemies down in a large area of effect, and then hitting them with Heart of Winter. It does so much damage. It's disgustingly beautiful to see in action, and you'll see plenty of those in the battle gameplay. Again, though, I don't know how tweaked and balanced and representative of their final release build these spells are going to be. I would imagine they've been tweaked again for this press build a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if Heart of Winter isn't as crazy powerful as it is in the footage you're about to see. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna dive on in. I hope you enjoy the gameplay. Commentary is being applied post-recording, so sorry if I miss any things, if I don't get enough zoom-ins and things like that. Do let me know more of what you'd like to see in the future, and obviously I'll bear that in mind for future gameplay. So yes, enjoy. Let's dive on in to the assault at the Brass Citadel.
Warriors of Kislev! We have traveled far and fought hard, but at last we have arrived in Khorne's bloody realm. Before us stands the Brass Citadel, where the Blood God's gatekeeper stands guard. We must call out the fiend and slay him. He rallies his demons for a last desperate defense. Vanquish them with ice and steel. This is the ruined fort, defended by Khorne's lesser thralls. Wipe them out and capture the icon of ruin. This will give me a foothold and grant us supplies to reinforce for the struggle ahead.
Here we are, the assault of the Brass Citadel. So we've got 4 units of Zargard.
Thing lancers! Go with honor! Taking point! Zargard!
3 units of Kossars. They are archers.
Go with honor! Taking point!
And we've got 2 units of wing lancers, which, as you can see, I'm sending them out to the flanks straight away, and I'm keeping my Zargard and my Kossars just where they stand, with a nice little bottleneck there. Can draw the blood letters of Khorne to us. just popped Ice Sheet, which reduces movement and charge speed of enemy units, slow them down, so we can set up some good charges with the Wing Lancers. Bringing Katarina over to the right side as well, so we can use some of her spells there. Using Ice Maiden's Kiss, a breath spell. Blast them back. And then, yeah, just getting some charges in on the Bloodletters. A little bit late on this one, but they still send the little demons flying.
The motherland's finest.
Love how they just disappear in a little sort of explosion of flame, and they melt away. So yeah, first wave to start with, guarding the Icon of Ruin. Nothing to really worry about. They're in up against our Zargard now, which are more than capable of holding back the Bloodletters. And now we're clear to advance to capture the Icon of Ruin. By capturing the Icon of Ruin, we will get rid of the debuff on all of our units that it applies, which is minus 15 armor. So just advancing up to that first stage. I can see Katarina just floats along there on a nice little ice path that she creates, which is really cool. We get to see that a little bit later on. She has a good old glide. Right, moving on up to capture the Icon of Ruin. Keep the cavalry back here. We'll want to probably keep a fair few of our forces back at this first stage, because as we advance through the other two stages that remain at the Brass Citadel, more Bloodletters and other units of Khorne will spawn to attack the Icon of Ruin that we're holding on to. So we have to defend our rear as well as we advance. So getting that balance right of how many units to leave behind while not weakening ourselves too much, and slowing down our ability to push forward. Just having a look at the battlefield here, it's really impressive. I'm really excited to see what other survival battles and other battle types that Creative Assembly might well have in mind for Warhammer 3. So we've now captured the Icon of Ruin, and we can now fortify our position with some towers and barricades. And we're also able to now, yeah, recruit some fresh troops. Katarina's got it covered. So every time you get supplies by just killing units, but you get a massive surge of supplies. We've now got just under 3,000 every time you capture one of the kind of key points. So I've now got some new units available to me. I've recruited some Streltsy, which are armor-piercing musket troops, which also have an axe at the end of the musket, so they can go into melee and use them as axes. And I've also recruited 2 units of horse archers just to try and slow down and harass the demons that are coming on in. So we've now, as you can see, at the top 100% of the first wave. Their forces are just about to descend upon us. Just going through and choosing some points to build some barricades. There's 4 different types. You've got standard barricade blocker. You've got a platform where you can place archers and missile troops on. You've got a kind of little monument that will buff nearby troops. And you've also got a trap, which is what I'm going to build over here on the right. And that has a minus 15% speed and melee attack to any enemy units that get caught in those traps. So considering the strength and power of Katarina's ice magic, I wanted to go for traps on my flanks rather than just completely blocking those points, just so that we can slow them down and harass them with all my missile troops. We've got the Streltsy there, and we're bringing Katarina over so we can use a combination of her ice sheet to really slow down the enemy, and then pop her devastating Heart of Winter, which is a 4-phase damage over time AoE spell. That's blasting into the Bloodless, so they've got to hack their way through the trap. It's like little spikes. When they destroy it, then they can just walk through unhindered. They're coming in with Bloodletters. They've also got some Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Now, obviously, bear in mind that this build isn't final balance. It's likely been tweaked specifically for this demo for this event. and for this first look. And they've obviously said with survival battles, they want you to get the feeling of being attacked by hundreds, if not potentially thousands, of demons. So their health is slightly lower than it would be in a normal battle, things like that. But you can see the damage from the Heart of Winter is absolutely devastating. It melts them into pieces. So meanwhile, I've sent my wing lancers to try and deal with the Chaos Warhounds. And then we've got the Horse Archers going to harass the Chaos Warriors of Khorne that are now going after the Tsar Guard, which we've just left, holding those two slopes on up to the Icon of Ruin. Because if they reclaim it, then the debuff is applied to our units again. Just use the Ice Maiden's Kiss breath spell there to try and blast them down a little bit. So I'm going to build a barricade on that position there to funnel them to the traps, and we can also place some towers. So there's 4 types of towers. There's a piercing tower, an arrow tower, and a magic tower, and then I forget actually what the other one is. But I pretty much just use piercing towers and magic towers in my battles that I did for this first look battle event, the Assault of the Brass Keep. I love the look of the Kislev units, but also those Khorne Chaos Warriors. It's probably because I collect Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, Warhammer 40k. But yeah, Blood for the Blood God. Kislev and Khorne will be 2 of my starting Let's Play series that I do when Warhammer 3 releases, whenever that is. So yeah, Barricade Blocker, that also reduces, or rather increases missile resistance. But it's more about using them to try and funnel the enemy certain ways. So I was hesitant here spending supplies just when I could see the forces of Khorne were all just going to go through that trap anyway. So we slow them all down. We've also got her Frost Fang, but we've only got 2 uses of that. That's good armor piercing damage. I wanted to hold that off for the final icon, the icon of Torment. I didn't want to use that up too soon, considering we've got plenty of spells. And with our supplies, if we have enough, we can help restore her Winds of Magic as well. I'll show that in a little bit. I don't quite have enough for another Heart of Winter just yet. My Kossars here, just firing away. So I also recruited a couple of units of Kossars with spears. So they act very, very similar to the kind of High Elves, Lothern Sea Guard, the unshielded variant. So you've got regular Kossars, which are just archers, and then you've got Kossars with spears for a bit more kind of hybrid flexibility. Just flanking on round with the wing hussars there, and they're just about to attack through here. Still don't have enough of that Heart of Winter. In come the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. So I send Katarin in there to dish out some damage. She's got some really cool animations for attacking as well. Don't know if we'll get to see them here. Just blast them back there. There is another one where she'll rise up on a big ice mound and then shoot down ice darts on those around her, which is really cool. We've got that magic tower just blasting on in. Just do another Ice Maiden's Kiss to try and blast them back. And bring the cavalry in here just to clear that. But with those towers in place, we've got them broken for this first wave. Obviously, it's keeping that balance of how many supplies you spend on towers and defenses rather than recruiting more units. We've now defended the Icon of Ruin, so the path is now clear to march on the Icon of Blood.
We must press on into the blood pits and seize the Icon of Blood.
So yeah, we need to seize the Icon of Blood, which is currently giving us a minus 10% melee attack debuff when leadership is lower than 50% of our base. So we want to march on that. So again, you face a defensive force each time you clear the previous wave of the previous point, and then you have to defend it as the enemy tries to retake it. So just moving forward now with my Kossars, taking my Kossars, my Streltsy, because they're armor piercing and they're pretty decent in melee because they just turn their weapons around and use the axe that's on the butt of the musket, basically. We'll get to see them in a minute. We'll zoom on in. I was thinking back here of trying to build up some towers. So go for just an arrow tower over there, which isn't armor piercing, but it will just harass the enemy. I was considering more, but so yeah, you've got the monument which buffs your troops in the area, but I didn't think that was that great. The barricade that you can place as a platform does actually boost range as well, but in all battles I played about 3 battles total for this event, and this was like my best run in terms of my score at the end, which we'll get to see. And I found that the traps were just the traps and barricade blockers to funnel troops towards you were the best combination. So we've got Chaos Warriors of Khorne, halberds coming on in here, and again you can see the debuffs there of the Icon of Ruin, Blood, and Torment. But we've got the Icon of Ruin now, so that's no longer affecting us. Going up against the Blood Letters over here. Wing Lancers just smashing them down, but we can't keep on charging forward because they've got Chaos Warriors, Khorne with halberds behind. So we don't want to go running into that. I know it's me, and I know I have a reputation for killing all my cavalry, but I didn't want to quite butcher my cavalry just yet. Although again, in this survival battle, you can spend supplies to replenish units. You can also withdraw units to let them replenish and recuperate, and then if you have the supplies ready to spend again to summon them back through the portal, you can do so. Here you go, the Streltsy there, just turning their muskets round with their axes. They can bash any enemies that get too close to them. You'll see them acting in a very sort of similar role to how quarrelers with great weapons act for the dwarves. So here I'm just channeling the winds and replenishing Katarina's health a little bit because she has been getting stuck in. Yeah, just smashing down the Chaos Warriors here. Their armor looks amazing. I said I love playing as Kislev in this demo. I can't wait to play as Khorne. If you had to pick 2 factions that you're going to play as first in Warhammer 3, who would they be and why? For me, it's going to be Kislev because bears, and it's going to be Khorne because blood for the blood god, and I think their armor design and everything else is awesome. So just here you can see there's weapon upgrades and armor upgrades. They cost a lot of supplies. There's also missile upgrades, which can make your units absolutely devastating at that top tier. It's range boost as well. In one of my earlier runs of this battle, which I'm not showing today, I increased my Streltsy, my armor-piercing musketeers, to like the maximum possible missile upgrade, which cost something like 5,000 supplies. So it's a big expenditure of supplies. And while it did make them absolute monsters of missile damage, it really wasn't worth missing out on all the extra units and barricades that I could have been building to slow the enemy down. So you've kind of got to fine-tune it. Obviously, this is just one survival battle that we've seen so far, so it'll be interesting to see the other scenarios as we go through the realms of chaos, how they play out, and what different tactics you'll need to utilize. But yeah, lots of different things to be able to spend your supply on. One thing I also spend a fair bit of my supply on is constantly topping up the ammo of my missile units. Again, just having a whiz round the scenery. We've sort of seen this before in the Vortex campaign for Warhammer 2. A lot of the set-piece final battles and that have these kind of dynamic, reactive environments. So that continuing through for Warhammer 3. Okay, yeah, so our troops just moving on up now. Getting them in to capture the Icon of Blood. Remove that melee attack penalty. She's nearly back at full health. She's killed 334 so far. Let's see a few of her stats again. There we go.
Beyond the portal wait Kislev's greatest defenders, ready to fight. Use the fresh supplies to summon them.
So we're going to get Ice Guard with Glaives and Griffin Legion. There's a few more units that are available, which we'll recruit once we have more supplies. But we've also got to balance recruiting more units to help with defense, as well as setting up our defenses. But I had to get the Ice Guard straight away. So sending the Kossars and the Streltsy over to the right there. Bringing up the Wing Lancers. Sending Katarina over to the right as well to start with. Still bringing up my Wing Lancers that we had back at the first stage. Getting out more of the Griffin Legion there. There's more Zargard. There's also a Patriarch, which is a support buff type hero that comes in riding a Great Bear. Going for traps again. Just all about slowing down the enemy for my missile troops to do as much damage to them. That's the strategy I found worked best for this one, for maximum score. I'll be interested to see. I need to go around some of the other content creators that are releasing footage today and see whether I got the high score or not. They've got Blood Crushers of Khorne coming in now, so as you can see, each stage more and more powerful enemy units come on in, and on the next stage you'll see some of the strongest and nastiest units that Khorne can field coming up against us. But yeah, they're now bringing in their own cavalry. Thankfully they're just Blood Crushers, not the Skull Crushers. They come in at the third wave and they are scary and nasty. So yeah, they're pushing on in. Blood Crushers got in there against Streltsy, but it gives me a chance to charge on him with the Wing Lancers. They've got Katarina there supporting as well, so we're fine. But my left is looking a little bit exposed. I've only got the Ice Guard with Glaives, so I'm assuming there's other variants of them as well. Just building plenty of traps, slow the enemy down, give my missile troops as much time to fire as possible. The Ice Guard melting the Blood Crushers there, as they should with the Glaives, but the rest of their forces have now broken through that trap, so that then disappears. I'm going for another Heart of Winter with Katarina, which needs to move forward. Pulling back with the Wing Lancers on the right because they got a little bit bogged down. I wanted to get my missile troops firing. And actually, by popping that ice sheet, I cancelled out the Heart of Winter that I had set up over here. So I'll pop it down again. Pop another trap in there, and the Heart of Winter is active. Starts doing a little bit of damage. And then just scales up like crazy. It will be interesting to see how powerful it is in normal battles, and obviously in the final build of the game. Rather than this kind of just press demo first look build. But yeah, I know that Ice Magic is meant to be one of the strongest laws of magic in Warhammer, I believe. But yes, it'll be interesting to see how strong it is. So here's our Patriarch. Comes in on his bear. He's got Aurora ability for a charge bonus boost, and he's also got a replenishment. So we charged him in. We brought in some more Zargard, try and support the Ice Guard that have been pretty badly munched because they've got Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons fighting on that right side. On that left side, rather. On the right, we're holding fine. In come the Griffin Legion, though. Some of our best cavalry smashing into them. And we've also got enough Winds of Magic for another Heart of Winter to just melt them. And so they don't escape because they're breaking through our line. Pop down the ice sheet again. Slow them down. They can't escape the icy death that awaits them.
Anything for Kislev! Comrades, retreat!
Cavalry's getting a bit munched on all sides. But what did you expect? It's me. Chaos Warriors pushing on through, but we've got enough missile troops to keep on blasting them. So I've sent the Griffin Legion with the Patriarch there to charge on through because he's on his bear.
Land is power!
And I'm now summoning in the last unit that we've got available to us, Little Grom, which is siege artillery. So it's a big old sort of like bombard type cannon pulled by 2 bears because it's Kislev, so obviously there's bears everywhere. And it can do massive damage. It's got a fairly kind of narrow field of fire. But yeah, when that lands on you, you don't want to be near it.
Obey the orthodoxy!
Moving! March for Kislev! Our duty served! To battle! March them!
So just reforming our forces. Smash those last few there. So units actually kind of can teleport through the barricades. Don't know if that's meant to be possible or what.
One final push to the boiling moat! We must seize the icon of torment and tempt Khorne's gatekeeper from his lair!
Yeah, so they've got a Bloodthirster that's going to be flapping towards us. So we've got to redeploy our forces now to face forward against that. We haven't gone back to take a look at my forces holding the Icon of Ruin, but we can see on the minimap they're swatting anything that gets through, so we should be fine there for now. Yeah, Bloodthirst coming in. They've got Exalted Bloodletters, I believe, as well as Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. Just got to get our lines redeployed. Yeah, Little Grom firing. I'm assuming it's named after Grom the Paunch. A nod to him. I don't know. Unless there's a relevant Grom in the lore of Kislev that I should know about. It's building more traps over there to block them.
The people's ruler!
And now popping some towers on this stage to hold them.
I am the blizzard!
And I've withdrawn my Ice Guard so that they can replenish, so I can re-recruit them basically at full strength. But it will take some time and cost some supplies.
Slay them!
Yeah, just trying to bring down that Bloodthirster.
Katarin!
Corsars!
Bring my missile troops round. Tower's doing a lot of damage though. As long as you can pin the enemy down, let your defenses help out as well. Hitting up Katarin again, just so that she's ready for the final push towards the Icon of Torment. Exalted Bloodletters with glowing great swords. So yeah, the Ice Guard glaives are back. We just don't have enough supplies to recruit both of them yet. Bloodthirster is down. Dealt with fairly comfortably the combination of the Zargard holding him in place and the Streltsy just shooting him to bits.
Comrades of the bear.
Now just bringing the cavalry up. You can destroy your barricades and defenses if you want to give you back, I think it's refunds 50% of your supplies, so I think I'll do that in a minute to get some more supplies ready. So I'm just bringing my troops forward, replenishing the ammo on all my missile units, all of them that need it, so they can still be effective. So yeah, just pressing that button there withdraws them because they're at 12 and 9 respectively, so they're not that strong. They need to go back, replenish, and then I can summon them back to the battlefield. Yeah, just popping back to that first stage, defending our rear. We'll restock the ammo on those horse archers in a second. Zargard, though, they're holding. We've got the towers, though, as well. That's why I wanted to spend the supply early on, just securing our rear.
The demon will come. Use the last of our supplies to ready our defenses. Raise towers, raise barricades, and summon forth the greatest of the motherland's champions. Kislev's enemies muster another assault.
Our duty, sir.
Yeah, so we can now get the best of our best units. But yeah, you can try and funnel the enemy on the flanks as well with barricades if you want to. We're now getting Warbear Riders. Here they come. See them in action in a minute. Just gathering up our defenses, ready for one last attack and defense. There's 16 of them in each unit. They're anti-large, and they pack a massive punch. So you saw me just then as well dismantling some of our defenses on the second stage of this survival battle around the Icon of Blood, just so that we'd have a few more supplies. We're going into the Skull Crushers of Khorne that have come in now. In-game my bears. And there's another Bloodthirster. But unfortunately, no time to gaze at their epicness. We need to turn and deal with the attacks on each flank and quickly get some defenses in place, get some traps just to slow them down. Just slow them down. And turn my defenders round. We've got little Grom at the back there just firing into the enemy force, and another Bloodthirster over on the right, so right and left, although the one on the left has just collapsed. It's gone down. I'm just trying to work out where the best place is to pop my ice sheet to slow the enemy advance. Got a Patriarch in there supporting the bears. Done what they need to do, which is see off the Skull Crushers. And we're now summoning in an elemental bear, who is one big strong boy with magic ice missiles as well, of bear breath. In the Heart of Ice there as well, getting hacked at by the Zargard. Recruiting in more units. Give us as many as possible to help hold this final position on this last wave. elemental bear in there as well. They're trying to chase down my Patriarch, who's unfortunately just broken. But with very few units over on this side, Katarin is just blasting away with her spells, keeping them busy. So I am using her Frost Fang. We've got 2 charges of. Try and blast down those Chaos Warriors with halberds. And it also caught the other one, and that is, yeah, it's big snap damage. So you want to use it when the enemy's all grouped up if you can. It's a long cooldown, but now is the time to start using those abilities. We've saved them till the end. Oh, we're now getting hit by some artillery Chaos have brought in, which we'll see in a minute. I forget their name. Magic towers, armor piercing, as much support as possible over here to hold the line, because this third wave isn't the last. There is one more challenge that awaits us. Replenishing Katarina there because she's under half health. Also boosting her Winds of Magic because we need to keep on firing out as many spells as possible. Managed to group our troops together there, supported by the Elemental Bear. And they are blasting, tearing units down. Chaos Warriors dual weapons. Go. Reform that battle line. We've pushed on out here. They've broken. Just pulling everybody back. There you go, the skull cannon, that's the one. But that is rapidly melting as well as it comes close. Skull cannon's gone, explodes.
Khorne's gatekeeper shows himself at last. Warriors of Kislev, prepare for the fight of your lives. Our foes threaten the motherland anew.
Oh, look. It's an exalted bloodthirster. And now we're into the boss battle mode of this survival battle. As you can see, that top bar now says 100%. It says boss. That represents his health. So in earlier attempts at this demo battle that I played, this preview, I tried to just take out, I tried to focus my or try and evenly focus my attacks across all the units that were coming in. But for this attempt, I decided to try and just focus everything on nuking down that bloodthirster, that exalted bloodthirster, where possible. Because as soon as he goes, we win. So I was getting all my missile units to turn and fire on him. And then just sweeping around with the cavalry. Thankfully, there's a trap there to slow them down. Exalted bloodletters. There's more bloodthirsters coming in. Khorne's throwing everything at us. And the Patriarch's back. And then we've just used, I believe it's the Death Frost ability, which is her direct damage spell. So it's good against a single unit. and it causes massive damage over time as well. So that'll help bring his health down, but he is a chonky boy. Just trying to slow down as many of Khorne's forces over on that right side as possible. They've just broken through the defenses, the trap at the front there. The bear is doing its best. Keep him busy. Yeah, just trying to get all my troops firing on that exalted bloodthirster, who I believe is called Skarag. Heart of Winter. Got some of them, but missed a few because we hadn't slowed them down enough. So we're popping her other Frostfang there. Wasn't super effective, but boss is down to nearly 50% health. Bloodthirster facing off against my big elemental bear. Need to heal up Katarina because she's taken a fair bit of damage, because they've actually sent in, they have another like hero on I think it's like on like a Skull Crusher mount. It's a Bloodletter hero, and he is harassing Katarina like crazy, which is why her health is dropping. With that cavalry we just reinforced, we managed to deal with the Bloodthirster. We're now going after the Skull Cannon. So they're just wheeling on down really quickly. Katarina just breaks. Yeah, he's a Blood Reaper. But just as Katarina breaks, the Exalted Bloodthirster goes down. Bye-bye.
My brave Kislevites, we stand triumphant. But Khorne is not the only dark god with a realm in this accursed place. The battle is won, but the war goes on. Come, we must continue our search for what is lost.
So there we go. The assault on the Brass Citadel. Any of you have any ideas of what she means by search for what is lost? Any thoughts on what she's looking for? Let me know down in the comment section. So there we go. That was my score there, 10,758. I'll see what other content creators got and compare. And obviously, I think these would be good fun to do kind of some community challenges with when the game does come out. See who can get the highest score. We can do some fun challenges both on videos and live streams, and perhaps do some prizes for the community member that manages to get the highest score in some of these. So this final attempt I did that you're watching today took 35 minutes. Katarina got 1,368 kills, and you can see the amount of damage dealt as well. So we faced the 4 waves. You can see the kills across all the units there. What did really well, what didn't. But I think most of them actually did pretty decently. Some of the Zargard didn't get that many kills, but that's because they were just sat at the back, just defending, and being supported by plenty of missile troops. So yeah, that is my first look at Warhammer 3. Some battle gameplay, the survival battle there, the assault on the Brass Citadel. Really enjoyed it. As I said, it was a remote event, so I didn't have this installed on my own computer. I had to remote into some computers Creative Assembly had set up for this. So this video actually shows the performance way better than what I was experiencing, because I had latency and things like that across the remote event. But yeah, it seems pretty decent. Obviously, I don't know what the graphic settings were or what the unit scale was. Typically, Creative Assembly tend to do their preview events on the large unit size, but because Warhammer has such a varied kind of roster of different unit sizes and types now with the Warhammer series, it's kind of hard to tell a little bit. I still think this is perhaps large rather than ultra unit size, but I could be wrong. I guess we'll have to wait and see when I actually get a build on my own computer, probably in a few months' time, I imagine, for perhaps some campaign gameplay. And obviously, I'll keep you guys updated when they announce the release date. They still haven't announced that unless they're building it into their own content that they're announcing and releasing the same time that this embargo drops and this video goes live. So maybe you guys already know and I don't, but I think they probably would have let us know to include it in our videos. So yeah, continue the speculation on when you think the game's going to come out. But I had a lot of fun with this. Obviously, it's a continuation of the series of Warhammer games. So if you enjoyed 1 and 2, especially with all the updates they've been providing for 2 as well, then I think it's fairly safe to say you're going to enjoy 3. I'm super hyped. Let me know which factions you're looking forward to most, who's going to be your first campaign. Yeah, perhaps even if you've got some ideas of what you think they could do with other survival battle types. I'm really happy that they've included this. Obviously, it's not to replace regular battles. You'll still have regular battles. This is, I think, what's kind of the idea that's coming to my mind is that you'll have to, at least with Kislev, part of your victory objective will be to go to each of the Chaos Gods realm and defeat them in a survival type battle like this. So you'll have to defeat all 4 and then probably have some final showdown or collect some pieces or some puzzle or something like that. So even if it's just 4, that's really cool to see. But yeah, more battle variety, different things to do is always good in my view. So yeah, keep it coming, Creative Assembly. Looking forward to seeing more of Warhammer 3, and obviously as soon as I can share that with you guys, I will. So yes, until the next one, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, take pride in the Legion. Check out my affiliates and sponsors, Games Planet and Overclockers UK. Till the next one, ciao for now.